Hi, my YouTube friends. I'm Dino Pinch. You're in the Handyman zone, and we got a serious subject today. We're going to talk about insect infestation that affects wood furniture and also any kind of framing lumber in your home. Lumber that's in crawl spaces, moldings around windows and doors, floors, base moldings, stuff like that. What we're dealing with is what they call furniture beetles. And I got a couple of notes here. I'm just going to, because I don't want to miss anything. This is really important. And this message really goes out to antique furniture fans, pickers, reclaimers. You know, when you're grabbing stuff at curbside that someone else might have thrown out and you think is a really nice piece. And I do it too often. But you got to eyeball this stuff before you grab it, because people may even know that a particular piece of furniture is infested with beetles, and they put it out at the curb, but they don't put any warning note or label on it so no one else picks it up. They're just thinking the garbage guy is going to throw it in the truck. But, you know, we might roll along and grab it, bring it home, and these bugs, they're called furniture beetles, powder post beetles, death watch beetles. They're second only to termites in the amount of damage they can do in your home. So, so you got to inspect and you got to make sure, because you could bring the article of furniture home, put it in your house, whether it be a picture frame, a wooden wall clock, a nice piece of driftwood that you found, or a desk or an end table, anything. Put it in your house. When these furniture beetles, at a certain point in time, they hatch out, and they actually fly, and they will spread to other furniture in your house, other picture frames, moldings, framing lumber, and they can infest your home and do a lot of damage. Back to my notes. They infest both new and old wood, new and old furniture, hardwood, softwood, lumber, framing lumber, moldings, picture frames, furniture, end tables, whatever. You can unintentionally bring them into your home in an infested wood item, such as this, and I'm going to show you what the infestation looks like and what to look for. But this would have been a nice toy box. This is a nice box. It needs refinishing. It could have been done in any style refinishing. But if you had brought this into your house, this piece is so infested, it would have really spread these beetles all around your house into every piece of furniture. They emerge when they hatch out. When the larvae hatch out, they emerge. They can actually fly, and they can go to different pieces in your house. Furniture beetles or powder beetles, you got to look for the telltale holes. And I'm going to show you a picture of the telltale hole right now, and I'm also going to finish up the video with some video of the actual damage an infested piece would have and the holes that you got to look for. But you could also look, or you may notice, like you have a bookshelf, or you got a table, or something, and there's always a little pile of very fine flour-looking powder in a certain spot. And that is actually sawdust from your piece of furniture that these beetles are chewing up, and it'll actually, because they're in a hole that's always in the same spot, and the sawdust will fall out of the hole and actually make a little pile that you may see inside a cabinet or something. You always see, what's this pile of flour-like stuff? It's always here. You investigate. Go look above that little pile and see if you, well, if that was happening, you almost wouldn't even have to look, but you could see how bad your infestation is. There's ways to treat the infestation. If the piece isn't damaged too bad, if it's not too late, if it hasn't been a long-term infestation, of course the best treatment is prevention. In other words, keeping your eye out for these things so you don't bring them into your house. Looking at a piece of furniture at an antique shop very carefully before you buy it. If you're picking or reclaiming or at curbside, really inspect the stuff. If you're doing moldings or any kind of construction in your house, you're going to want to make sure that the manufacturer or the lumber mill is guaranteeing that it's powder post beetle free or whatever. So prevention is the best treatment. But If you found that you bought a relatively new piece of furniture, or you bought an antique recently at an antique store and you find that it's infested, make a trip back to that store and present your piece to the owner and show them the actual holes. They know because it's happened before. And if you don't either get a refund or a store credit or replacement furniture that's not infested, and again, if it's all in a warehouse together and one piece is infested, I would kind of think, or if it's all in the same antique store and one piece is infested, I would kind of think they're spreading around. So I don't know if I would be too keen on a store credit or getting another piece of furniture. But if you don't get satisfaction from the store owner, feel like you've been wronged, don't do anything crazy. Tell them you're never coming back there again. Tell them, the owner, make sure you're talking to the owner, that you're gonna go home and make a YouTube video, searchable, Google searchable, by his store's name, location, phone number, everything, showing and exposing the fact that you bought an infested piece of furniture from them and they refuse to give you satisfaction. And post a video, follow up, post it everywhere, on social media, YouTube, put out like ripoffreports.com. And then just sit back and see this guy call you up and make you an offer to take your videos down. Then throw out the infested piece, and if you're in the middle of a dispute with a store, you might end up going to small claims or something. I would wrap the piece up in a plastic bag or a big plastic sheet and really tape it closed really good, because you may have to show it to an arbitrator or bring it into court if it's a smaller piece or something like that. But I would want it out of the house because it's infested and they're just going to spread around. And if you do put it curbside, put a warning note on it, because some innocent picker or reclaimer may see it and it may strike their fancy as a nice piece, and they may grab it and bring it back to their house, and then they're going to infest all the wooden things in their house with these damaging little buggers. If it's an heirloom or a valuable piece, valuable to you or valuable monetarily, you could look around locally for an exterminator or a pest control company that has a fumigation chamber, which is basically like a 10 by 10 foot sealed room where they would put your article and any others that they were fumigating and pump phosphorus gas into this room, which would impregnate the holes and the furniture and kill these powder post beetles. But they may have to leave it in there for a couple of days, and it may be very expensive, and it might be cheaper to actually replace the furniture, which is why I say only if it's an heirloom or a monetarily valuable piece may that be a worthwhile endeavor. If a smaller piece, you could put it in your oven and bake it at 130 degrees for 3 or 4 hours, so that all the wood gets evenly heated to a minimum of 130 degrees for a couple hours, and that should kill both the larvae, the eggs, and any adults that you have hanging around. Couldn't put this in any kind of oven in a home, it's just too big. Most of the insecticides to treat these powder post beetles, these furniture beetles, are restricted federally, so that kind of eliminates treating pieces yourself, although I have seen over the years on the internet various powders and stuff being sold. But the thing with the powders is you have to get the powder into each and every hole in everywhere in the furniture, and if you miss 1 or 2 holes, and they can hatch out. They've actually found these active furniture beetles in pieces of wood that are 35 years old, so they can live generations and generations. They're really a pest and a pain. So here's our piece. I mean, it looks all right. If you give it the once over, it's a pine chest. It would make a nice toy chest. It doesn't look infested to the naked eye unless you really look at it. One of the legs, you see there's like little legs, the back leg is broken off. So I took a closer look at it. Took a really close look at it, and check it out. There's another hole. That's probably a hole there. That's probably an egg sac of them, because they lay their eggs outside the furniture, then the larvae burrow into the furniture. That's them right there. That's one. That's one. There's 3 right there. And then the infested, wormholed, and they go in and they zigzag and they just, like Swiss cheese, they make a million holes, and it just took all the strength out of this. You can kind of get an idea why they call them powder post beetles. You see the powder is just, and this might be a hint too. If you saw like powder like this underneath a piece of furniture, start looking around. There's a bunch of holes right there. Well, I'm done showing you all about these buggery buggers and that can cause problems in old furniture, lumber, and everything else made out of wood. And I'm putting it out curbside for the trash pickup. And as you can see, I duly noted, I put a warning on it for pickers and furniture reclaimers.